motivational person.
Russell Mack here. I'm in Wuhan, China, or at least close to Wuhan, China. I'm sure everybody knows where that is after the last 5 years. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that place.
China.
But anyways, I'm in my underwear because I'm pimping. That's why I'm in my underwear. And I just got back from outside. So, anyways, I want to talk about why China is going to lead the world in the next decade. And it's coming faster than people think it is. If it's not already doing so. And I'm going to go on the list with my experience here and tell you why, from personal experience, why I believe that, after me being here for a few days. Hasn't been that long, but I still have some input on it. So let's just start off with the most obvious thing. And I was a bit annoyed with this when I first came here, but that's the fact that the Chinese internet does not allow 90% of Western apps in its internet. And you might think that's unfair, and if you're from the West and you can't really do your work, obviously. So if you're doing business with the West, then you also can do your work. So what does that mean? If you live here, that means that you need to know Chinese because they have their own apps, and all of these apps are in Chinese. So if you don't know Chinese, then you're pretty much SOL. But anyways, China does not allow these apps into their ecosystem, these Western apps into their ecosystem, because they know that it's a Trojan horse for degeneracy. If you look at most Western apps today, I mean, come on, what is Instagram these days? It's basically a pornography app. That's what it is. It's a pornography app. Go on your For You page, even if you don't look at that stuff, and see exactly what's on your For You page. Use a ghost account, make a new account, look at your For You page, and look at what it's showing you. There's gonna be some type of softcore porn on there, I can assure you. So that's number one. And China knows this. China knows. They're aware of the people behind this. I'm not gonna talk about who. You can do your own research onto who is behind all this. Perhaps I might talk about it later one day, but not in this video. But they know about these people and who they are, and they know that these apps are not good for society, and they lead to demographic issues. Now, that being said, China does have its own demographic issues for different reasons, but nonetheless, they know what's up. So that's the first thing. You need to know Chinese if you plan on living here. And they don't allow Western degeneracy into their country. For good reason. I understand why. So that's number one. Number two is you gotta know how to do the Asian squat. If you don't know how to do the Asian squat, then you're also SOL, because 80% of the public bathrooms here have squat toilets as their toilets instead of Western style toilets. And on top of that, you need to bring your own sanitation devices to clean yourself with, if you catch my drift. Because most public restrooms don't have that. Now, if you're in like a private room, or like a hotel room, or your house, the newer constructions have Western toilets these days. They're starting to catch on. But anyways, drink break, and then we're gonna get to it. Sponsored by Chinese milk here. It's very good. So, I think China has the best milk so far. It's really nice. Anyways, number three, the infrastructure is A+. When you're on the sidewalk, they have they have a big sidewalks, and I'm not even in a big city here. This is close to Wuhan, not exactly Wuhan, well, in between Wuhan and Hunan. But anyways, they have the bike lanes on the sidewalk for people to go on the bike peacefully, you know? And you don't hear anybody honking their horn if somebody's riding a motorbike, because a lot of people do ride motorbikes here. They're all electric, so everything is quiet. Everything is nice and quiet. That's number 3. The infrastructure is A+. Number 4 is it's a one-party system. Right? The style of government is communist, obviously. And there's, of course, China has a good mix of communist and capitalist influences. I think there was this one picture of like the hammer and sickle. Here, I'll put it right here. The hammer and sickle above a some kind of luxury store, and what that symbolizes is a nation needs a good combination of capitalism or communism. Any direction in any extreme direction in either side of those, this results in the consolidation of power in the hands of a few. And that's when a dictatorship occurs. And I think China's doing that correctly. It's doing a good job of balancing that. And with that being said, there's no political turmoil here because it's a one-party system. You know, you don't have tribes forming over Republicans and Democrats, or you know, people bashing each other over the head and going to jail over some presidential candidate who doesn't give a damn about them and doesn't even know they exist. You know, that doesn't happen here. People get along and, you know, they trust their leaders to guide them forward and take care of them. And I can see it, you know, people get along here more than they do in the West. You don't see people getting into road rage and, you know, getting out and threatening to shoot them, or somebody stepping on their shoe and, you know, threatening to stab them, or something inane or stupid like that. So that's there too. People get along more here, and because of that, they can unify better as well when the poo-poo hits the fan, if you catch my drift. So there's that too. Another drink break. This is a corn milk. It's actually Vietnamese. It's not even Chinese, but anyways, have some. Just got back from walking. Pretty good. And then, I think the last reason why I think China's winning is because you don't see any kind of foreign interference in their government like you do in the West. The government is run by the Chinese and for the Chinese. There's no lobbying, there's no people with dual citizenship coming in and taking over the government in a hostile takeover. None of that flies here. And because of that, they don't blow so much of their funds on wars for other nations. And I'm not going to name any names. Again, you can go do your own research and figure out what I'm talking about. Perhaps I'll talk about it later, but not now. But anyways, they're not blowing any of their funds on aiding them in foreign wars that they get nothing out of. You know, that's not happening. If anything, they're sending their funds to improve the living conditions of other countries. And yeah, perhaps they might treat the people in that country bad during the construction of the country, but at least they're helping them build something, and they're not just destroying. You know, it's been said before, China builds or America destroys and China builds. And that's what's going on. And because they can save their money and not spend it foolishly, that means they get to spend more of their money on improving their own country. People wonder how China got so advanced in the last 30 years. And just from being here, yes, I can tell you, this country is certainly living in the future. There's some technology here that I've never ever seen before, not even in the States. But anyways, they can use their funds to actually benefit their own country and reinvest into their own country, rather than funding foreign wars. So there's that. So those are the 4 or 5 main reasons, I forgot how many I talked about, why I think China's gonna win. You know, and it's happening. You know. So all you pro-West people, you know, don't get mad. Just be better. Don't be mad. Be better. Simple as that.
I just hate him, I hate him, I hate him.
But other than that, the people are very friendly here. I think the West tries very hard to make it seem like this is some Orwellian prison state that people live in here, and that's certainly not the case. I've seen people jaywalk and nobody really cares. Actually, if anything, I would argue that the people here actually mind their own business better than the people in the West these days. You know, people aren't pocket watching what you say, as long as you don't say anything about the government here and the people running the country, then you'll be fine, right? Nobody's gonna beat you over the head because you said, oh, some sexist comments about a woman, you know? Oh, because men should be men and women should be women. Nobody's gonna bash you over the head for saying that, right? So there's that. People are very friendly. They're shy, but they're friendly. If you ask them for help, they'll talk to you. They smile at you. You know, they're just normal people going about their life. The West also lies about the social credit score system. That doesn't even exist here. That whole thing is made up and fake propaganda. And on top of that, that just got me thinking, why is everything that the West accuses China of doing, they themselves are doing? What do you call the credit score system? You know, try having a low credit score in the West and see what you can buy. See what you can do. And in some cases, you can't even leave the country if you have a low credit score. If you're indebted to people, you know? So try, you know, just... And then the second thing, they accuse people here of not having freedom of speech. What's been going on the past couple of months? Who can you not criticize right now? I'm not going to say any names, but again, you can do your research. I'm talking about the same people. So there's that. Everything that the West does, they accuse China of doing. So that's just a common theme that I've noticed. And that's what I believe is happening. It's just a common tactic. And of course, the people here are friendly. You know, people here are more healthy as well. And then, of course, the food here is A+. Chinese food is the bomb, bomb.com. There's so many different varieties of food, and some of the things that you think the Chinese wouldn't be good at making, they are good at making, like bakery stuff and ice cream. It's actually really good. So shout out Bing Chillin.
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋。